Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. I was scurrying to get my coffee made. I forgot that I needed coffee. How can I do a live without coffee? I got it done. Priorities. 1 minute to spare. Life is good. You know, a minute is forever. You know what I mean. So how's your day? Life going well? Keeping you busy? I know I've been talking to so many of you about Valentine's Day. It's been kind of amazing. I know. It's only the first. We've got a little window of time. But those of you that know that we're already months past Valentine's preparations beginning. But we're stepping away from Valentine's Day today. Doesn't that feel good? Notice, no red, kind of hot pink, actually Viva Magenta, but no red. Notice it's not Valentine's, because today we're stepping back. You've had a couple of weeks of Valentine's with us, and next week Teacher Michelle will be back with last minute Valentine's, but today we're moving on to wedding. And I know many of you are excited about that. I've been getting so many emails about, and there's been posts on Facebook and on Instagram about, oh my gosh, and I'm hoping you all set your alarm and remember to show up, because you were telling me I'm going to be here, because today is a pretty special day. Today we're looking at Wedding Trends 2023, and best of all, Teacher Jeri is back with us. Which made me so happy, because in my memories it came up that Teacher Jeri was here on Wednesday 5 years ago doing Wedding Trends 2018. And now here we are, Wedding Trends 2023. And Teacher Jeri is amazing, because she kind of keeps her eyes on things, looks at the pulse, watches all of the blogs, all of the posts, follows everybody who's doing what, and then curates that information into reality as to what is really going on in her world, which her world may be different than your world, but learning how she curates that to see how you take the big picture and then hone it down to yourself, pretty fabulous. So as you can see, we have amazing flowers. Huge thank you to GardenRosesDirect.com, because they helped me out. I called them and I said, hey, we're doing wedding trends. I gotta have garden roses. And notice, are they amazing or what? Yeah, that's not all the trends though. There are way more to share with you. So Teacher Carolyn's with us on YouTube. Teacher Michelle is with us on Facebook. We've got Creative Ricky on tech, making sure we stay live. And then in the virtual world, we have Susie and Caledonia. And I'm here, and you're here. Take a moment, introduce yourself, let us know where you're from. Because when we're talking trends, it's nice to know what parts of the world are we talking to. So go ahead and put that in there. Teacher Carolyn, Teacher Michelle, and Caledonia and Susie will be watching that, and they will give us the information so that Teacher Jeri can speak to you wherever you are. So with that, let's get started. Teacher Jeri, get up here! Yay! Woo!
Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad you're back.
Oh, Phil, thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
It's been so long.
I know, it's been a long time
You
since I've done a lot.
belong
A lot
here.
has changed since 2018.
Hasn't it though? Oh my gosh. Oh, and you went through the business side. Okay, those of you that know, Teacher Jeri, Bella Blooms, right here in Portland, Oregon. Well, actually, it was Sherwood.
Yeah,
but
outside of Portland.
Outside of Portland, but Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Amazing wedding and event florist. Super established, super busy, super crazy, like we all are. Then COVID. Nothing. you pivoted.
Yeah, we started to do dailies, which I never thought we would go into that market, but it saved us. Still did like little weddings and micro and lots of more backyard weddings than we had ever done before, for sure.
So you had that little stuff, but it's the pivot to dailies.
Paid the rent.
You know, and that's really what it comes down to. How do you pay your bills at the end of the day?
Keep your team, all the things.
You know, we all love trends and weddings and events, but the reality comes down to how do you make a living?
Right, and that wasn't a fun trend, right? Cancel all the weddings. We don't want that trend ever again.
Let's not go there again. No. Oh my gosh! So I'm glad you're back,
Thank you.
And I'm glad you survived all of that because chaos.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, good thing about creatives, right? We can creatively problem solve sometimes. So.
That's good. You creatively problem solve. I love it.
We're gonna solve this, right?
So for those of you that are out there wondering, where do I fit in this universe? This is your answer person. She knows everything, or at least.
Oh my goodness, not true.
At least she'll pretend to.
For a
she'll
minute.
pretend to know about that much.
Right.
But you know, she's been there, done that. She was in the wedding world when it was fabulous, and then she was in the wedding world when there was nothing. And then she pivoted to the wedding world when it was absolutely insane. Do you know, off the top of your head, how many weddings did you do last year in this whole revival?
Last couple years, about 100. Yeah, so a lot.
Okay, hello, people. 100, I mean, triple digit.
Some of those are very little weddings, but
And you still kept your dailies.
yes.
And you're close to wine country, so you're doing a ton of stuff with the vineyards and wineries.
Parties and corporates and yeah. So we're dabbling in a little bit of all things right now. So weddings are still certainly the closest to our heart. The other things are, there's a lot of sense of community and, really connecting with our little Sherwood community through the dailies. And so those we've not decided what to do with. We don't want to let go of those yet. So,
you know, it's hard because you build that community and you wonder if something, God forbid, no, it's not going to happen. But if there was a disaster,
knock on wood.
If there was a disaster, you want to make sure those people are still in your back pocket. Plus, you build that relationship.
And it's a totally different relationship than what I have with wedding vendors or my wedding clients. So it's been interesting. But there's been more benefits than just the financial benefits than I thought there might be. So I'm sure everyone who runs a daily shop already knows this, but it was a new lesson for me. So
you know, isn't that true? We all figure it out as we go, and then you find little positives in it. So, for you in the Tulip Bunch, if you are a member of the Tulip Bunch, put your icon in. If you're not, you should be. And if you're a first timer, let us know so that we can get to know you and greet you. And all of you, if you have questions for Teacher Jeri, this is your opportunity. We have 1 hour to explore wedding trends 2023 with our personal in-house expert, and you get to ask the questions. So type it in, make things going, and then I'm going to sort of step out and get out of the way so that Teacher Jeri can show us. And I know, first off, she's got a simple bouquet to share with us, something a little more modest.
A trend I'm loving.
So I'm going to get out of the way and let you have at it. But you yell, and I'm at your command.
All right.
If you need anything.
I like it. Well, thank you. And thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited to talk about the trends that are happening for the 2023 wedding season. Some I am completely in love with, and some I'm trying to wrap my brain around. Before I get into that, though, if there's certain trends that you're seeing in your area, things that are super hot, I'd love to know like what you're hearing, but I'd also love to know what you're booking, because I think sometimes what we're seeing as trends and what we're hearing, this is going to be hot, is not always what we're booking. So it's an interesting. I just want to be nosy. I just want to know like what you're seeing and what you're actually booking. So share with us that as I kind of go through a few things today. So let's see. I am going to make a little bouquet as we talk about wedding trends. I feel like the biggest wedding trend, or the biggest thing I'm seeing in trends right now, are large installations. Sorry, I'm all nervous. I haven't done this in a while. So large installations, big feature florals, think something awesome for the front of the ceremony, really high impact pieces that kind of make the wedding guests go, wow, and have a floral experience. So I'm seeing that over and over as I'm reading different trend blogs and just doing research, lots and lots of high impact pieces, which I love, right? As florists, we love making those huge pieces. So I'm super excited about that whole idea. Kind of going along with that, seeing lots of heavy floral aisles. I love that trend. I know we saw a little bit of it last year, but love that we're still seeing it. This idea of like big planter boxes on the aisle or single roses or carnations lining the aisle. Those heavy aisle florals I think are going to be a big trend in 2023, which, bring it on. Like, let's make big, beautiful ceremony florals. I'm totally down for that. And I think, kind of going along with that, like over and over, seeing this idea of like more is more for the ceremony and these heavy floral pieces, which is interesting because in bouquets, I'm seeing that less is more. So I'm going to create a bouquet, just a super simple bouquet with some heather and some astilbe. In bouquets, seeing so much less greenery than what we had seen previously. Let me grab some tape. I think gone is the day of the huge greenery bouquet. I'm not saying that we're not going to book some greenery and some white blooms. We're still going to see that, but I think we're done seeing those giant over-the-top greenery bouquets, and we're going to move to a simpler bouquet. Maybe it's a single flower type, maybe it's a couple different botanicals, but it's not that big greenery thing that we've been seeing. So here I'm just going to put, let's do a little spiral bouquet of heather. It's less expensive on our market than astilbe. So I'm going to throw some heather in there first, and then I will bring a little astilbe in here as well, just for a super simple bouquet. Leanne?
So when you use astilbe, does it make you crazy? I have not found a perfect way to keep it hydrated.
So this astilbe I found feels pretty good. Astilbe makes me super nervous. So I think if I were going to sell a bouquet of this idea, I love the idea of putting it with something that I feel is a little bit more...
I'm impressed with that because heather will live.
Yes, right? So, definitely want to hedge our bets, right? Give ourselves a little insurance policy. So if the astilbe starts to fade, we still have that heather in there to hold the bouquet together. So.
I think that's the magic of a professional florist. They know how to work with the medium to give the look without the tragedy.
Right. Well, and I think less stress too, like figuring out like when we need to say, to a client that's not going to work and, just create a less stressful situation for ourselves. I think if I've learned anything over the last few years is maybe I've almost learned it, working on how to say no and, come up with a different idea for clients that is going to feel, more doable and less stressful. No one needs extra stress going into a wedding. So she's just a sweet, very simple bouquet. This reminds me of like a courthouse bouquet. But I think we're going to see these simple bouquets really be mainstream. So,
that elopement style is come into the main.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Teacher Michelle, what have you got there?
So Marjorie had a question for Jeri.
Yeah. Hi, Marjorie.
When you get a bride who might ask for a color combination that is a little off or you think could be improved upon, how do you handle that?
Oh, good question, because we were just talking about colors.
Well, so if I get a color combination and I'm like, I don't know how it's going to come together, or I can't wrap my brain around it, I create a little like storyboard for the client and also for myself. But most of the time it's to convince myself that it's going to work. Because I don't want to automatically tell them, oh gosh, I don't know how that's going to come together. I don't know if you're going to love that. Instead, I want to kind of just step back from it and create it just digitally and decide like, oh, you know what, that works better than I thought it's going to work. Or, oh gosh, what if we added this? That would really connect those two colors. I feel though like that question, Michelle, kind of touches on one of my talking points though. I think we're going to see more and more unique and unusual palettes. We've been seeing, right, this trend of like lavender and mustard. And I think we're going to see more of those kinds of things, and then throw in things like orangey reds and dark blues where you're like, whoa, is that going to work? And I think we're going to see more and more of those like fun, unique palettes. So great question. Thanks. You got any other questions, Michelle? You want me to?
Well, I have a question
Sure.
for you. Are there any alternatives to traditional bouquets like cuffs or pomanders coming in this season?
So I don't see that. I don't see that trending online, and I don't see that trending in our own studio. As far as less traditional bouquets, I think it's going to be things like this, like single flower types, a couple flower types. I mean, think like a bouquet of all freesia or hyacinth or sweet peas, just a single flower type. I think that's where we're going to see that unique bouquet idea come to life.
Monobotanicals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very trendy, for sure.
I like it.
Okay, so let's see. We talked about the big trend is definitely the high impact florals, and then bouquet trends. Simpler, smaller, less greenery, no greenery. That's definitely, I think, what we're going to see this next season in bouquets. Let's see. What other trends do I gotta check my notes here. What other trends do I have to share with you guys? What about color? What are you guys seeing for color? I wore my bright pink headband. You guys can't see it because I'm too short, but I have pants on that match this crazy color of headband in honor of kind of this new idea. Well, you guys probably already knew about it, but I just discovered it. It's called Barbie core. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but it's everything pink and girly. And it's so outside of my normal, but I'm kind of excited about this idea. But color trend, what I'm hearing is more color. Are you guys seeing that? Are you guys booking that with your clients? We're still booking a lot of like whites and greens and neutrals and pastels. But what I'm hearing from the powers that be out there in the world is that we're going to see this movement towards a lot of color and bold colors like bright Barbie pink and fuchsias and all sorts of fantastic things. So definitely a big trend towards that. Other kind of trending color palettes, I'm sorry you guys, I'm gonna read off my notes here a little bit, but other trending color palettes are brown, earthy kind of palettes. Can they see all the way over here? Yeah. So this type of palette right in here, these colors, these earthy colors, and I think that goes along with another trend that is continuing to happen, and it's this idea of dried flowers. Still seeing that, and I kind of wonder between the browns and the dries, that's kind of an extension of that boho thing that we've seen happening the last couple of years. But I think we're going to continue to see that, and maybe people are going to it's going to be less boho. I feel like that's my prediction. It's less boho, but we're still using those browns, that neutral palette with the dried botanicals. I think it seems like this idea that they can keep their bouquet or boutonniere or hair flowers or whatever after the wedding is exciting to some couples.
So what I gather from what you're saying,
Yes.
and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you see a trend of color coming in,
Oh yes.
but that sales of current brides still are leaning to that neutral palette.
Yes. Well, and I think, sorry, I appreciate you kind of called me out, brought me back to center here. I feel like there's two diverse trends in color that we're seeing. I think that we are seeing this idea that there's going to be lots of color, like that's what the predictions are. But then I'm also seeing this idea that maybe it's softer, but it's like this unique palette of colors. It's very like gathered and maybe a little bit softer. And then as far as bookings in our own studio in Oregon, in our area, we're still seeing a lot of neutrals. Of course, white, right? We're always going to see white in weddings, but a lot of neutrals and soft colors. Pastels are really hot for us, at least. So we haven't seen as many clients booking bright colors. We have a couple, but not all of our clients for sure. So
Okay, so I'm going to throw you under the bus here.
oh no, throw me under.
Because I've been talking to a lot of people about trends and such. What do you think about dyed flowers?
Dyed flowers. I mean, personally, I think like I'm
I
a
know,
flower, you know,
sure.
I'm a flower lover. So, and I feel like Mother Nature does it well for the most part, but sometimes you just need something that's a little bit different. I was just sharing with the ladies here in the studio earlier that, you know, I'm going to use a bunch of colored baby's breath for an upcoming photo shoot that I want to be a little bit over the top. So I think that like dyed and, you know, color enhanced botanicals have their place. Like, would I want them in my own home? No. If I want to do something kind of over the top, yes. And I think that that also speaks to like the more color and the monochromatic palettes that we're going to see trending. So along with the idea of bold colors, also this idea of like minimal colors for a wedding and color blocking. So, you know, maybe we needed everything fuchsia. We might have to dye a few things to get it where we need it to be, right? So
I love it. Oh my gosh. So what do you see on the trend? We did the bouquet.
Yeah.
What about flowers to wear? Are people still going to do boutonnieres, corsages, hair pieces? What's happening there?
Yes, I think so. I think that we, right, at least in Oregon, you guys will have to tell me where you guys are. I feel like those types of wearable flowers, like corsages for moms, boutonnieres for grooms, those are all kind of negotiable, right? Like there's no one feels obligated to have them, but we still see a lot of clients booking those things. Kind of a fun new trend though, and I know we've seen it, most of you have already seen it, but I think that it's becoming more mainstream and clients are requesting it, and we're seeing more bookings for this idea of a pocket square. So I was going to make one up with you guys. Let me grab a couple of things here. So how we make them in our studio is we just take some sort of lightweight cardboard. Here's my like cardboard box from my stim wrap. And then we just take that cardboard and hot glue ribbon to it and just wrap that around and secure that with a little bit of hot glue. This part that's unfinished, this is where we'll put the flowers, that type of thing. So I don't have to worry about this top part being perfect, but I do make sure that all the rest is clean and looks professional and put together. Let's see, you guys. So, and then Leanne, so we do ours with a little bit of cardboard and ribbon. That's and then Leanne has found this tape. Remind me what it's called, Leanne.
It's projector film tape for the
Okay.
screen to
Okay.
block it off so that it makes the tape better.
And I'll put it down here so you guys can see it, but it's felty, and so it's got a really nice finish and it's sticky, and then I just put a little piece of cardboard in there to make it a little bit more rigid. And the nice thing about this, then the end, oops, I'll put it down here, so maybe you guys can see it. So the end is nice and finished. It's just got a really nice polished look. A little bit of tape overlapping here. And then I can just build on the top. And when I make these pocket squares, I think about them and I just kind of draw a line in my, I don't know, in my imagination, but a line on here that I keep everything above so that when it slips into the pocket, that's the spot where it's going to slip to. And then everything below that I'm going to keep really clean. So I start with a little bit of greenery first on there, just so that I have something to kind of start to hide the top.
So Jeri, you're
Yes.
talking about researching the trends and
Yeah.
talking with the trendicators and
Yeah.
so forth, where do you look for that information? Who do you feel is setting the trend right now?
Oh gosh, lots of blog posts. I mean, if you just do a Google search of, like I looked at 2023 wedding trends, color trends. Pinterest is a great indicator. So when they put out any reports, they're seeing what people are searching for. So I feel like that's a really, there's some research behind that. Their predictions, right? If they're kind of seeing lots of people searching for something, specific. Get the words out. Like Pinterest is saying, as far as color trends go, that green is hot. Like more people than ever are searching green. I think what we're going to see is a lot of green bridesmaids dresses. And how does the floral kind of, gosh, you guys, words. How does the floral kind of work with those colors? But emerald is supposed to be super hot. I know in our own studio, we've had multiple clients this week talk about sea glass green, like those kinds of like blue-green kind of colors. So excited about that because I think they make a great neutral backdrop to any color flowers. So Carolyn.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because Sonette here on YouTube says her son's getting married and their colors are emerald green and navy.
Pretty.
Yeah. And then a question for you, what are the measurements of that cardboard for the pocket square?
Oh my goodness, thank goodness you guys are asking good questions because I'm not sharing all the good stuff. So 3x5 works so well in a pocket. So 3x5, and like these ones, you could even use like a stiffer 3x5 card, something like that. But anyway, yeah, 3x5, thank you for asking. So perfect. Okay, so back to this guy. So a little bit of foliage to the top. And then I start with my bigger primary blooms. I tend to like to offset them just a little bit on here as I'm working this. Do you guys have any more questions?
You answered two of them back to back, so that was really good. We do have some folks weighing in on some of the trends that they're seeing in their area as far as color.
Nice.
Lots of pinks, the whole tone and shade family there.
Yeah.
And pastels in general.
Okay.
And that was Massachusetts.
Okay.
So go a little
Pinks
farther.
and pastels, okay.
Yep, so head farther south to Louisiana, and it's the opposite. It is bright colors and super dark colors in combination.
Nice. We're hitting all I feel like those are the two kind of trending directions right now. This idea of a mixed botanical and mixed color palette and kind of soft colors, and then this idea of like all these bright bold colors but more in like a color blocking kind of way. So let's see, did I share with you guys? Yeah, I think I shared with you kind of all the trending palettes that I'm seeing emerge right now.
I'm glad that you're doing a demonstration on this and that they can see it up close and personal, because it'll be coming out on a Tulip Tuesday to do the base of this, but I didn't demonstrate how to finish it off. So thank you for finishing it off so everybody can see how beautiful it is.
Oh, absolutely. And you can keep them simple, or there can be just tons of detail. Just charge accordingly, right? Charge accordingly.
Exactly.
And how far in advance can you make a pocket square?
I don't think it'd be any different than a corsage. So whenever you're making your corsages, so at least a day in advance. I think it's going to depend on what botanicals that you're using. I would certainly say that if you were doing lots of them, that I would start at least the base and maybe the greening of the base, right? Whenever, get that done way in advance of the wedding that you're working on, and then I think you could do the greenery a couple days before. Just keep everything in a hydration chamber. Make sure that it's not so wet that your base is getting soggy or, gross. And then flower-wise, easily the day before, depending on what you're using on there. Good question. All right, you guys. So I'm just putting a little bit of acacia in here. I can't help but use acacia this time of year. It's so beautiful and fun. So I had to use it on this little pocket square. So here's what we have going on. So, oh, where are you? All you get to see is my glue from right there. But yeah, so here's what I have going on. I'm trying to keep this kind of line right here, thinking like this is going to slip into the pocket. So I really want to pay attention to that. I don't want to have a bunch of stuff at different levels coming out the bottom because I know that I want the pocket this to slip into the pocket to that point. So I'm being kind of thoughtful about that as I'm working this. All right, you guys, what else are you seeing out there?
Well, Trish in Louisiana says she has never seen a pocket square in her area.
Oh, cool.
So this is cool.
Well, so it would be a great thing to introduce to your area then. I think when somebody hasn't seen something and you can like throw it up on your social media or, you know, talk to your clients about that, it really like sets you apart and builds a lot of interest. I know for us, we did a little reel on a pocket boutonniere pretty recently, and it was really well received. So that was fun.
So back to the color palettes, Jeri, do you have a personal favorite that you like to work with? Is there one that just speaks to your flower love and soul?
I really kind of like this. I really like the softer palettes, but I like the idea that we're allowed to throw some unique elements in there. I kind of love like the whole lavender and mustard thing, throw in a little bit of blue. As far as like trends that I'm not sure about, there's definitely this huge movement towards bouquets and table centers and arbors and everything without any greenery at all. Or if there's something that's greenery, it's not green anymore. Think like a really warm palette of peaches and coppers and things like that, and then instead of greenery there's something like golden fern coming out. So anyway, it's beautiful and I love it, but you know, you get to designing in a certain way and then you have to retrain yourself, right? Which is good and bad. Like we don't want to be lazy designers, but I'm like, oh man, got to retrain our brains again. So I'll get over it all. We're working on it, so.
That lavender and mustard is always one that throws me, and it's so beautiful. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm always like, what? But it is so beautiful when
Right.
you see it done.
Right, and I really love it in the fall. So, all right. So just putting a little Brazilian here. Carolyn, did you have?
Yeah, Dennis is chuckling over here on YouTube. He's saying that finally pocket squares have come on trend. He's been showing them for over a decade.
Oh, good. Well, I mean, the consumer is asking for them right now, so that's fabulous. So I'm glad that he's going to have maybe some additional clients that want to take him up on that.
So when you get that one done,
Yeah.
let's show people what it looks like when it's in.
Well, it needs a million more details. Oh, we're going to put it in a coat pocket. Yeah, for
Is
sure.
it sort of ready?
Yeah, it's ready
Kinda?
enough. Yeah. You guys get this. I'm going to put this down here. So this is super simple. And I mean, the beauty of this is you can be super elaborate and really work on these for days. I have the same problem with flower crowns, but sorry, you guys are over here. I'm showing this to this little camera, but well, I have a friend. But anyway, so
So you
this
might
one,
want to pull it a little closer.
bring my
to
friend
you.
closer. Okay.
There you go. Yes, now you're best friends.
Yeah, we're best friends. So like I said, like I just really pay attention. You guys can't see it from that far away, but pay attention to this bottom line and make sure that everything, you know, that it's kind of clean so that when you slip that in,
Oh my gosh,
you don't
that's
see.
so beautiful.
Oh, you're so sweet. That it's just like nice and clean in the pocket. So, okay, I'm moving my friend off. This is a very simple idea of this concept, but for time,
And
we'll be
Jeri,
done.
As far as pricing on that would be similar to any handwork, right? Corsage work, you're not differentiating because it's a pocket square versus a pin-on boutonniere.
Oh, we are.
You are? Okay.
Yeah. We're definitely throwing it more in the corsage category.
Okay.
I mean, just mechanics, right? You have to do that base, and then I do feel like it's more floral than just a standard boutonniere. And I also think it's one of those like fiddly things that you could fiddle with forever. So I would definitely charge accordingly for that. We're definitely charging more than just like a standard boutonniere. But it's a totally upgraded boutonniere. So I think it makes sense that it's a little bit more, right? So
So now that we've gone through some of your trends and the colors and
Yes.
such, I want to see a bouquet.
Okay, let's do it. So.
I mean, not the simple with the heather and the sylvia, although that was beautiful. We love it. But let's see a bouquet.
Right.
Bella Bloom style.
Oh my goodness. So we have all these beautiful garden roses from Garden Rose Direct. So we have to use some of these, and this color
You're
just,
going to go hot pink. Oh
well,
my
I mean, I
God.
feel like this speaks to my
It's
like
the
current love for
Barbie.
the Barbie color trend. So,
I have to get a step ladder so that you can show your pants off.
oh my goodness. Well, if I were flexible, but I'm not. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bouquet, real minimal greenery, which you guys are going to see. It's just like a struggle for me, but I'm working on it. And I'm going to use just a tiny little bit of floral net as an armature. I'm not making a very big armature, and the reason for that is I can't use a lot of greens to hide it, right? And this idea that bouquets are getting smaller, and I just love an armature. So,
So that's kind of amazing. So poor Amy just did the honkin' bouquet with big armature. And now look at the
Tiny
difference.
little
Yeah, it's
baby.
Like, whoa.
I
Her
know.
arm was so sore, but it was beautiful when it
Right?
was done. But it was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of armature too. Like, you know, you need to make a bouquet in a certain shape or huge or little. You can kind of, you know, the beauty of floral net, right? You can just make it however you want to make it for whatever you need. So I have this little baby little ball of wire here. And you guys, I'm totally overwhelmed with all this beautiful product. Okay, so things for this bouquet. We have to use some of these beautiful garden roses. These cute little peonies in here. Big trend in bridal bouquets right now, right, is anything that has movement and dances. So like sweet peas are your friend, right? Look at those, they're so beautiful. Let's
When
see.
I got
Yes.
sweet peas today, they were selling them in bunches of 50 in one place. I only bought the bunch of 10, sorry. But
Darn it.
They had
50?
bunches of 50.
Wow.
I'm like, whoa!
And how expensive were those?
We're not even gonna go there. Notice she has 10.
Bring your Amex Black card for that purchase.
But also, I mean, going along with that like really minimalistic trend, like even a bouquet of all sweet peas.
Well, that would take the whole budget.
Oh, speak to my heart. Okay, so like what else are we gonna play with here? Oh my goodness, there's so many beautiful things, Leanne. Okay, well, let's just get started.
So Michelle, which is that rose that Garden Rose Direct with the hot pink? Is that Darcy?
That is Darcy, yes.
Darcy, yeah, and we reflex the petals a bit on it to make it showier. Isn't that an amazing? And that is that Viva Magenta, hand-toned color of the year.
It's super pretty, and the foliage is really beautiful on it too. Now
Yes,
that foliage isn't
foliage.
cool.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Okay, you guys. Oh my goodness. Let's see all these beautiful things. Okay,
Too
so
many choices.
I know there's so many choices over here.
That doesn't count as green, does it?
I'm not counting this as greenery. It's my like little greenery crutch. I'm going to use a little bit of this jasmine. I'm counting this like I would like the golden fern, right? It's a flower, not a total greenery. But jasmine vine's just so beautiful. So we're going to start with a little bit of, guys, after I unknot it here, we're going to start with a little bit of jasmine vine just to like start to fill in my armature, start to create a little bit of movement in this bouquet. I gotta make some room. Okay, let's see. This piece looks lovely. It's probably going to be the, oh, it came out. It behaved. Does it pain you guys to like take little bits off of things? I hate letting go of these beautiful little pieces, but they're gonna be two inside the armature, so we're gonna have to let those go. And I'm just going to weave a little bit of greenery to start in this armature.
Tammy just said, I'm adding so many fresh cut flowers to my garden. Dahlias and snaps. Flowers are so addictive. You guys get me so excited to try new things.
Oh, what area is she from?
I am not sure where Tammy is. Let me ask her. Tammy, type in there where you live, please.
Tell us where you're from. So I have this giant pot of jasmine on my front porch. And it came to be because one time I needed some beautiful jasmine and I wasn't finding what I wanted at my wholesale house. And so I went to a garden center and found some. And when I was done with it, I just threw it in this big pot. It was a pot of jasmine and I just sat it in this pot and now it's lived there for like the last 8 years. And so happy, and I love to be able to cut off of it. It's super fun. So if she lives in a place where it would survive, she could just grow it.
She does not. She lives in Minnesota.
It's not gonna happen for her.
Not happening.
Gotcha. Darn it, we tried. All right. What else do you guys have out there?
Isn't it interesting though how here in the Pacific Northwest, we just go to the garden center and we can buy so many of these things and then prune from them as we need them. So it's our private little wedding cutting garden,
Right?
but how lucky we are.
Right, we are lucky. I think though when you go to the garden center, you have to think about the flowers haven't been conditioned like the ones from your wholesale house. So you guys, I'm being attacked by jasmine. So they are going to behave a little bit differently. So make sure you cut them and hydrate them properly and give them a minute in your cooler before you try to work them. Especially with like my jasmine vine, I definitely have to like cooler it off and let it harden up a little bit before I try to work it into a bouquet.
That's so true with jasmine, ivy, all the little viney things that we gather. If you soak it and hydrate it and then refrigerate it before you use it, it holds so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think we've all learned this the hard way, right? How to learn the best lessons are sometimes learned the hard way. So I'm just
if you come to flower school, you learn it the easy way.
Oh,
we share all those things.
That's true. Sometimes some of us are just stubborn, but okay, let's see. So I have just a little bit of jasmine vine in there, just creating a little bit of movement in this bouquet. I'm going to just put a little tiny bit more in here. Was I hiding myself behind the flowers?
Yes.
You were.
That's perfect. My little introverted heart loves that idea.
In your little flower garden.
In my little flower garden, I'll just like hide over here. So.
So you're
now that
getting
you
lots
have-
of love over here on YouTube.
So now that
Nice.
you have that, if you would hold it up where Ricky can show it as a close-up on that, kind of move it over into that general vicinity, because that's a very cool start, showing how that all works.
It's kind of a
And
hot mess right now,
down,
but
down,
The same
down.
spot as the pocket.
oh, got you. Oh, you want it way over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So you guys, I'm just trying to stabilize this armature in my hand. So I'm just using the stems of the jasmine to stabilize the armature, and just using a little bit of greenery to start to hide the armature.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that so everybody could see a little closer.
And I think we all know as designers like what our strengths and our weaknesses are. When I started in the industry, like the trend was super compact designs, and so I know for me, I need to start with a little bit of length and a little bit of movement if that's what I'm after, to kind of trick myself into designing how I want to design. I think we all know those things where we're like, oh, if I do it like this, I'm going to have a better result. So I start with that little bit of movement and length. It helps me just keep remembering like that's what I'm after in this bouquet. So, and I'm going to tape this off a million times. That's just my thing. I like to kind of tape at every stage. That way, if I need to run off and, I don't know, drink extra coffee or whatever the thing is, I can just put that in a vase, walk away from it for a little bit. Or if I just get frustrated with it.
And you use 1-inch corsage tape for that, is that correct?
This is my favorite. I typically use it in green, but you guys all know how it's going these days. You just take what you get. What's the phrase? Take what you can get, right? So I can still find 1-inch tape in white, but not in green. So I'm looking forward to when all things are back to normal, because I want my green tape. But For right now, the white works. And the nice thing about most of our bridal bouquets is that we cover them with a neutral ribbon, so it works. So, okay. So next I'm going to go in with some of the larger flowers in this bouquet. I'm going to put those closer to the base of the bouquet, and I'm going to group them together by color. I'm going to take some of that. This is beautiful foliage, so it's a little painful to take it off, but I'm going to pull back some of the foliage on here just so I can really let that flower shine. Oh, do you have some green tape, Leanne?
We have
I know.
one roll that we always save for you.
I've been stealing it.
I know.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Another Portland
And we
florist.
hide it. It's like,
Yeah.
this is Jeri's tape, but Carolyn uses it.
This is
because
my
she-
favorite too.
I know.
I know. It's like, oh my gosh.
Another Portland florist turned me on to it. For many years I didn't know it even existed. But so we get this question a lot with armatures. Do all the flowers have to go through your armature? And no, they don't. Sometimes you can take the flower and just put it up against your armature. So not everything has to go through your armature when you're using an armature. You can kind of use it in a couple different ways. So that little tiny armature, it's not my idea that every single bloom is going to run through that armature, but instead it's just going to help me keep this bouquet open and a little bit lighter, and allow me to kind of pull flowers out at awkward angles that I might not be able to do without an armature. So
It works perfect with your headband.
oh, good. Am I Barbie-licious? I don't know what the I'm bright. I'm ready for this bright color trend. So
Jeri, that was the Darcy garden rose
Yeah.
from Garden Roses Direct that you put in there.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite garden rose?
oh my goodness.
I know, pick your favorite child, right?
I know, that's impossible.
Well, I didn't ask this. Catherine wants to.
Oh,
so.
Catherine asked this. Okay, so I think it's probably because I feel like when garden roses really got hot, I think Juliet, Juliet, right? And she was so hard to get for a while. So I think she's still near and dear to my heart. I remember throwing a few elbows to get Juliets, ordering from multiple wholesalers, hoping I would get a bunch of Juliets for a wedding, So all the things we did, and now look at, you can much more easily get them, thank heavens. So, but
Well, now you've got an inside with Garden Roses Direct
Right?
and Alexander Farms. Hey,
I know.
Joey and Yost, she wants to come to the farm and see the Juliets being grown.
right, I want to see my favorite babies being grown
Yeah,
for sure,
she needs to come and see it.
right? I would love that for sure. So just letting this Darcy kind of come out and be natural, and really being careful to keep everything airy and give it all its own little space. Oh no, I'm gonna switch tape colors and just gravitate towards that green tape. Back to my white. I'm gonna tape this last little guy in here, you guys. I know for you guys that do it all in your hand and don't tape, this is horribly obnoxious, but you'll just have to bear with me. Okay, let's see. What's next in here? I think keeping with our Barbie color theme.
Ooh, which one is that one?
That is Constance.
Constance is one of my favorite openers.
Let's see. Oh, as far as the shape?
Uh-huh. It just, you don't have to reflex it, you don't have to blow on it, it just opens and holds. It doesn't shatter like some things do.
And I didn't see it on any sort of trend reports from anybody. Where's my knife? But I feel like open face flowers we're still seeing lots of customers ask for them. Anything that is more open or has a center, this whole idea seems to be very popular with our clients.
Jeri, you're hiding again. Slide this
Oh,
Constance out of the way.
It's totally on purpose. You guys, the garden roses are cuter, so. Okay. Any favorite color palettes that we're seeing out there from anybody?
Not beyond that first flush of them. I will say several people mentioned green and white was still very popular.
Yeah.
It's classic. It's
Yeah.
never going away.
It's definitely classic. And I think that, right, when we hear things about trends, I was talking to Leanne about this, but this idea of bright colors, right? Like all over. If you read any trend blog right now, it's more color, bright colors, intense colors, bold colors. And we're just not seeing it. So I think it just depends on the area that you're in. And sometimes just because it's a trend, it's not the thing we're booking, right? So, I mean, are you guys mostly booking like whites and greens out there, or what are you booking this year? I mean, because most of us know what our summer looks like color-wise already. So it'd be interesting to hear what your guys' summer looks like color-wise.
You know, that's a great question. So tulips, chime in. With the weddings you've booked already, what colors are you seeing? Let's ignore trends. Let's just say, what is reality for the colors you're booking at the moment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Michelle, Carolyn, you're on it.
Well, Dennis just said he's seeing a lot of requests for blue. And then earlier on, everybody was chiming in saying they're still getting neutrals.
Yeah, lots of neutrals. For those of you who are saying neutrals, is it pastels, or is it like warm tones like quicksand and Sahara spray roses? What color neutrals are you? I guess neutrals would be more like your sands. I guess what I'm thinking, light colors. Definitely seeing a couple different trends in the light colors. Lots of pastels in our studio. So I think another huge trend is this idea of terraced flowers, where you're seeing kind of flowers on top of flowers. Not everything is sat at the same level. I think it speaks to that open airiness, definitely creates some like movement, and what I like to say, you know, that they're dancing, little dancing flowers. You're seeing that right a lot on like social media like TikTok and Instagram. You know, once we get a bouquet finished, like sharing it and like really sharing like how it's gonna move on the wedding day. I think that's super fun. Anyway, look at that. She's so dancey and beautiful already. So,
You know, it just dawned on me, we did not give you a single hydrangea, and you often use hydrangea as a base mechanic. Are you still seeing that as something to go with, or have we moved beyond it?
I think it really lends it, like, so Leanne's asking, like, are we using hydrangea at the base of our bouquets these days? And I would say no. Like, it really is more of like like if you're doing a more compact piece, then it's a beautiful armature under a compact arrangement, maybe of roses or something like that, when you're going for that little bit more of a compact ball kind of look. But these bouquets with like all this airiness and movement, hydrangea is just too big, in my opinion. You guys correct me, or, you know, tell me if you're able to use them, but I think it just doesn't work in this idea. So
It is a new bouquet from where, you know, because we went from the really, really tight, what I always called the Martha wad,
yes.
to
Oh, Martha.
the huge, oversized, what I would say was the hot mess. And now it's almost like it's a curated bouquet that's a little more stylized and a little more modest, but exquisite blooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, speaking of modest, she is getting kind of big, but shh, I just love all these flowers. I can't help it.
Never too many flowers.
Never too many flowers. I'm not certain if all our clients would agree with that, but I just, you know, lots of push-ups before the wedding day. They'll be fine to carry a big, huge bouquet, right? But no, the trend is smaller bouquets. So, Leanne, did you ask me a question and I spaced it out?
I was
Okay.
making a comment. So,
Okay.
no, you were right there. You got it.
Like, where am I at?
And now you got your little puny peony.
Okay, I know. These probably cost $1 million, and they are the tiniest peonies, but they're kind of adorable. Here, look, if I put it, oh, you guys, I've made all sorts of messes down here, but what if, move that out of the way, look at how sweet that little peony is. It's like just
I know,
a
when I
baby.
purchased them, I said, well, let me have some of your overpriced peonies. And you said they're only overpriced if you don't want them. And I said, I want them, so I guess they're not overpriced.
Well, touche, right? Okay.
Well, you have some colors popping in for those who have booked events
Who's booking?
for the
Yeah.
summer. So I'm seeing a lot of repetition of pastels in
Yeah.
the soft pink blush not canary, like a butter yellow sage, white green tucked in with that, a burgundy and blue, that was a bit of an anomaly. And then Amelia is saying purple, hot pink, and yellow. Not sure how that one's gonna look.
Although I think that goes with this like idea of this bold trend. I feel like, I mean, that's the type of color palette, like bright yellow, purple, fuchsia in there. I think those are the palettes that people are saying are going to trend. And I'm just not seeing it booking yet, but I'm interested to see like if we get there. So pastels, is anyone seeing lavender? I have tons of lavender. I feel like I'm seeing lavender all over like social media. So anyone booking lavender? Okay, what else you guys got?
So
I
you
love the way you're just flinging that around, and it just is beautiful.
It is pretty bad. I just don't know where this peony lives in this bouquet. I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe it comes right up here. We'll see.
You mentioned earlier when you had an unusual palette to kind of get your brain wrapped around it, you would play with the colors or do a mock-up.
Yeah.
Do you get requests from brides for mock-ups of their bouquets?
Every once in a while. And some florists, friends of ours, love that idea, like working through something in entirety for a client prior to the event date. For whatever reason, I just don't love to do a mock-up in real life. And I think normally the reason is like generally they're wanting that mock-up in February and their wedding is in September. And so I can't get all the same product. And so I feel like it's really not going to be a good idea or a good representation of what I'm going to create for them on their wedding day. And so that's always hard for me with mock-ups. Where was I going with that? I don't know. But I think I do like to put the flowers together in some sort of like digital board so people can see all how those colors are all going to play out. And so I can make sure that I know how they're all going to play out and that I'm going to like it when it all comes together. So are we running out of time, Leanne?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay.
You've
Okay.
got about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So if you had one thing that you see happening in your wedding world that excites you, what would it be?
In our wedding world, let's see, outside of the trends, in our wedding world, something that excites me, I think we have a lot of clients moving towards bigger ceremony florals, arbors covered in flowers. That excites me. I love those big, wow pieces. I always kind of cry a little inside when someone wants like a little greenery on the aisle or something like that. It's much more fun to make a big, huge statement piece for the ceremony. I'm always like, spend your money in the big piece instead of anything little. This is more fun to make. So
you're seeing bigger in the decor, smaller in the bouquets.
yeah, who knew?
More emphasis on the flowers to wear or less emphasis, do you think?
In our own studio, I think the same.
About the same?
Apparently, it seems like there's going to be this movement away from flower crowns for brides, which we never booked a lot of that anyway. But this idea of maybe hair flowers coming back, but not extra emphasis on flowers to wear. And I think, depending on your area, like Oregon is a little informal, so we break the rules.
I know. It's funny because every town is different. Not even just Oregon, but every
Right.
town. And so we're talking about trends. And I love the fact that you're saying, okay, well, this is a trend, but this is what I'm doing, and yet this is what is. And so you just don't know. And trying to adapt to what does the client want to pay for, what can you get, and what do you want to make.
Right, and I think though, you don't want to always do the same thing, right? And you don't want to market yourself as always doing the same thing and only one idea. So I think like paying attention to what's trending, even if you don't think it's super sellable in your market, find some piece of it that might relate to your like ideal or everyday client and do a photo shoot with that. So, or play with, if like giant, I don't know, bunches of baby's breath or whatever, that's not your thing. Find some little piece of like whatever is trending and kind of work that into a photo shoot. Just keep yourself relevant and fresh, right?
So it's interesting because Valentine's Day is coming up. We're stepping away from that. We're not talking Valentine's, but Jeri's getting ready for Valentine's. But she scheduled a photo shoot for immediately after so that she can use the product,
Well,
if there is any.
yes.
You know, because she may even go to the wholesalers to say what might be left that might be less expensive to do the photo shoot. But what I love is you're doing the Barbie with the pink. We have a pink Barbie car if you need to borrow it.
Thank you.
You know, you guys may remember it from Livestream before. We had our little pink vehicle. So if you need a pink Barbie car to show flowers.
But I need a really big one because that would be
Oh,
beautiful.
no,
in a
ours
photo
is like
shoot.
this
Yeah,
big.
like a pink Cadillac or something. I
Oh,
don't know
no,
for this
we weren't
photo
gonna
shoot.
do-
No,
but
darn it.
maybe if you took it from way back, Ricky could help you stage it
Stage
so
that?
it looks big.
I've seen photography like that. That might work. I don't know if the model will fit in that, but
Well, no, then we're gonna have to put her way over here.
right,
I
right.
love it. Oh my God. Well, Jeri, thank you so much for being here.
absolutely.
I know
Thanks for
that
having
you
me.
are into this little tiny lull, and then you get crazy busy.
I know,
And
because of
so-
those dailies.
Well,
We'll
the
be doing
dailies-
Valentine's Day. That's what we're prepping for right now, on top of putting out so many wedding contracts.
And
So,
then you're going to be Wedding Central,
Yep.
and so we feel very blessed that you've been with us for a little while. And
well, thank you,
you
for putting
know-
up with me and having me. It was exciting to share.
you know, everybody, let's hear it for Jeri.
Oh my gosh.
Go look at her Bella Blooms. She's on Instagram, Bella Blooms Floral.
Bella Bloom Florals.
Okay,
Yep.
so look it up on Instagram. Like her, make sure, because give her a little boost.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
every time she posts, do something. Remember, we support. Because you know what? She just gave up an hour of her life to come play with you.
It was a good hour to give up. Like, it's perfect. I love being here.
Well, and I enjoy it so much because I learned just watching you work. It makes me so happy.
Aw.
And that's so light and delicate and
Well,
dancing.
we'll finish it out off camera and show
I know,
some
and
pictures
then
or
so
something.
off camera she'll finish. Ricky will get professional photos. We'll post them on the Tulip Bunch tomorrow, and then we'll share them out on social media over the weekend. But thank you for joining us. Bless you for being here. Thank you, Jeri. Bella
Absolutely.
Blooms, yay! And we'll see you all next week.
Yeah.
Have a great week. Get out there and do something you love.